Hello everyone, welcome back to another top 10 list. This evening I'm giving you my top 10, or in this case, top 20 favorite comedies of the 2000s. Yeah, the 2000s brought us some great, funny movies, and I thought I'd share with you my top 20 favorite comedies of the 2000s. So, without further ado, here we go. Number 20 is Little Miss Sunshine. Coming number 19 is Waiting. Waiting is a movie that I relate to, like a lot of people do. Centers around a restaurant, one day of waiters and waitresses and cooks. If you ever worked in a food service, especially one with servers, then you can relate to this movie. This is an hysterical movie. It's got a great cast, great quotable lines. Luis Guzman, Dane Cook, Justin Long, Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, David Kushner. You have a great young cast. This movie is funny. My favorite scene would have to be when that lady is a bitch and she complains about her food, and they go back and correct it. That, even though it is appalling, it is funny, and yeah, I love this movie. Waiting. Even the direct-to-DVD sequel is funny too. Still waiting. Check it out too. Number 18 is Euro Trip, an underrated comedy in my opinion, but it is four friends who decide to go to Europe. The two, brother and sister, were going there anyway for a vacation to have fun. The other two guys go there to search for his buddy online, who he thinks was a guy at the time, but turns out to be a beautiful girl. And so they go to track her down, and a lot of funny things happen along the way. They meet up with the twins. They get into a lot of mischief. Matt Damon has a small part in this movie in the first few scenes, which is hysterical. But this is a sex road trip comedy, and I love it. I start to finish. It is great. And it's one I highly recommend you check out if you haven't seen it. Number 17 is Meet the Parents. Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro, Owen Wilson. Great movie. Centers around Fokker, who is meeting his girlfriend's parents' Pam's for the first time. And of course, De Niro is the hard-ass ex-CIA agent and everything. But a lot of funny things, like I said, happen in this movie. I won't spoil because I want you to watch the movie, but it is hysterical from start to finish. Owen Wilson is the ex-boyfriend, which he is funny. There's a lot of great side characters, but the best part in this movie to me is when he hooks him up to the lie detector test, and yeah, tries to get him to spill the beans. But Meet the Parents, great movie. It spawned two sequels, great trilogy. Definitely check it out. Number 16 is National Lampoon's Van Wilder, another great comedy starring Ryan Reynolds. A very young Cal Penn is in this movie. You have Simon Helberg, who plays Howard Wolowitz on The Big Bang Theory. He's in this movie. And you have Tara Reid, and you got a great side cast as well. It is funny. One of the grossest scenes I've ever seen in a movie is in this movie. I'm not going to say what it is, but it involves a breakfast treat that I will no longer eat, especially this type of breakfast treat, and we'll just leave it at that. But this is a funny movie. It's one I highly recommend. National Lampoon's Van Wilder. Tim Matheson is in it as well. Definitely check it out. Number 15 is Step Brothers. Will Ferrell. I mean, come on. Seriously. You have just a great cast. It's about two brothers who have, of course, a mom, and then the other one has a dad. And John C. Reilly is great. My favorite scene is always with him and his brother's girlfriend or wife, and her when she's talking to him about being rolled up into being rolled up to a ball and putting her vagina is hysterical. The movie is great. It's one I highly recommend. All these movies I highly recommend. They are just freaking hilarious. And Step Brothers is the second collaboration with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. So definitely check it out. It is hysterically funny. Coming number 14 is Bad Boys 2. This sequel, for some reason, gets a lot of hate from critics and maybe some fans too, which I don't know why. Because this is, bar none, way better than the first movie. The action, the comedy in this movie. Oh my God. I don't understand the people's hate and the critics' hate for this movie. It is fantastic. Start to finish. You have returning buddy cop buddies, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, along with a great side cast. I don't know what else to say. This is an underrated movie. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is freaking hysterical, packed with action and quotable lines. I don't even want to say. Check out Bad Boys 2. It is freaking awesome. Number 13 is School of Rock. Jack Black, arguably his best movie he's ever done. He did his best work. He is a slacker who was recently kicked out of a band, so he needs money, decides to take a substitute teaching job that he's pretending to be his roommate, and teaches these kids nothing but music and enters them into a battle of the bands. It is a great movie. I hear there's supposed to be a sequel. I think there's a TV show possibly, but this movie is a classic. Jack Black at his best. Probably my favorite Jack Black movie. I don't know. I have to do a top 10, but it's funny. Check it out. Number 12 is Super Troopers, The Broken Lizard Gang. Quotable lines, laugh out loud comedy, and we got a decent sequel too that I watched this year. Not as good as the first movie, but still a very good sequel. And this first movie, a lot of quotable lines. I don't want a large farva. I want a goddamn liter of cola. But the Broken Lizard Gang is great. I also love their movie Beer Fest. It's fantastic. But yeah, Super Troopers, 2001. Check it out. Number 11 is a movie I just watched last night, and that is The 4-Year-Old Virgin. I've seen that movie at least 24 times, and it never gets old. Steve Carell, Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd. You have Jane Lynch. You have a great cast. David Kushner has a cameo. There's a lot of great cameos. Jonah Hill. Just a fantastic movie. Basically about a 4-year-old man who's never had sex, and his co-workers decide to try to help him out. Leslie Mann is one of my favorite characters in this movie. When she's driving the car and she's all drunk and talking about, man, I'm going to get some French toast. And she's driving all over the road, hitting cars. It is a classic comedy. Just couldn't quite crack the top 10, but it's one I highly recommend. I recommend all of these. Number 10 is Dodgeball. Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller, Justin Long. Again, a lot of great cameos. You have Gary Cole, Jason Bateman. Those two calling the dodgeball games are the best commentators in a comedy movie or any movie for that matter. I would pay money to see them all day call games. Doesn't matter what the sport is. Uh, but it's about this gym um, who is going to be bought out if they don't pay the back taxes and all that. So they enter a dodgeball tournament out in Vegas, and it goes from there. Christine Taylor is beautiful in this movie. She is actually married to Ben Stiller. She was on one of my favorite TV shows growing up, Hey Dude. Great TV show, half hour. But this movie is funny. Great characters, great story. Uh, Check it out. Number 9, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I mean, just a great road trip comedy. John Cho, Cal Penn, Eddie K. Thomas, Neil Patrick Harris. Yes, MPH. This is what brought him back into the spotlight, and it spawned 2 sequels, which I absolutely adore. I was so happy we got a Christmas movie, but nonetheless, this is a great road trip comedy. They run into a lot of funny characters, a lot of cameos. Jamie Kennedy, uh, the the wood scene is funny. Uh, it is a stoner movie as well, but it is really funny. My favorite scene is when they're getting their car fixed by Freak Show, and his wife hits on him and basically wanting to have sex with him and everything. It's a funny, hysterical scene, and Freak Show is great. I love the little song he does in the truck, yeah, just a great movie. Check it out. Number 8 is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. That is 2003's Bad Santa. I love the follow-up sequel to it. Not a lot of people did. I did. But Bad Santa, you have Billy Bob Thornton, Bernie Mac, John Ritter. Both John and Bernie Mac, rest in peace. Billy Bob Thornton and Brian Cox are a duo who every Christmas, around Christmas time, play Santa and an elf to get access to the mall's safe and goodies. And every year they end up broke and back where they were at. Billy Bob Thornton is a sex machine in this movie. He is hysterically funny. My favorite scene is when he's having coitus with the woman in the dressing room, and the lines he says are so funny. I won't repeat them here, but yeah, I can't say enough about this. It's one of my favorite Billy Bob Thornton movies, and yeah, one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, in my opinion. Coming to number 7 is my favorite Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore collaboration, and that is 50 First Dates. Oh, everybody probably say, oh, The Wedding Singer. No. Wedding Singer is good. I think it's a tad overrated, but 50 First Dates, by far, is my favorite Sandler, Drew Barrymore combination. I'll even take Blended over Wedding Singer, but 50 First Dates, I love the concept. She is suffering from short-term memory loss, so every day she wakes up thinking it's the same day. She does the same thing every day. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day movie, but in a different sense. You know, she's actually suffering from short-term memory loss. But 10 Second Tommy is great. I think it's 10 second. Yeah. 10 Second Tommy, I think it is. Dan Aykroyd's in this movie. Sean Ashton's in this movie. Rob Schneider is in this movie. But yeah, the chemistry with Sandler and Drew Barrymore is phenomenal. I love the story. I love the direction. I love the characters. I love everything about this movie. It's flawless in my opinion. So yeah, check out 51st Dates. My favorite collaboration with Sandler and Barrymore. Coming number 6 is Zombieland. Yes. At first, I thought this movie was just, I didn't really have any interest in it. But the first time I watched it, I got hooked. It is now on my DVR, and I watch it all the time. Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg are really, really good in this movie. This is one of many collaborations that these guys have done over the years. And they did, what is it? Now You See Me, and its sequel where they play magicians, and they're great in that. But Emma Stone in this movie is fantastic. Bill Murray has a nice couple scenes in this movie, but it's a zombie apocalypse, but in a different way. It's a comedy horror movie, and there is a sequel coming out next year. I'm so pumped for that. 10 years after the first movie, they're all coming back. I cannot wait. But this movie, from start to finish, is great. It's not overly long. Like I said, it's got a great cast, great characters, a great story, and yeah, kick-ass zombie movie, and they're all kicking ass, and the kills and comedy are on point. Check out Zombieland. Number 5 is Knocked Up. Knocked Up is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's any genre. Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Jonah Hill, Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann, Katherine Heigl. Simple story. Rogen is a stoner along with his roommates, and he ends up having unprotected sex with Katherine Heigl's character, who is a successful news reporter and everything. And she is up for promotion, but she is also pregnant. It was not expected, but it is hysterically funny. You have a cameo with Harold Ramis and the mother who was in Growing Pains. I can't remember her name, offhand, but this movie is funny. It's got great characters, a great story. Seth Rogen is really genuine in this movie. This is one of just a handful of Katherine Heigl movies that I like. I haven't seen a whole lot of hers. I really hear she's really difficult to work with, which has led to her firing on that medical drama she was on. But yeah, Knocked Up is freaking hilarious. Number 4, one of the greatest parodies of all time, and then a Scary Movie. The Wayans brothers, Keenan Ivory, and Sean and Marlon Wayans did a great job with this parody of I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream. It's got a great cast. Of course, Sean and Marlon Wayans are in it. Anna Faris, who I absolutely adore, is in this movie. Regina Hall, I believe that's her name, or Regina King. It's one of the two. I can't remember right offhand. But this is a funny parody. I went to the theater with a big group of friends when this movie came out because it's so anticipated. Jeremy Lewis, Keitra Hay, Neil Bogart, Samantha Carter, Brian Shealy, Randy Bailey. We all went and seen this movie, and it was non-stop laughs. We just couldn't get enough. And majority of us returned for the sequel that came out the next year. But I will always remember this one for the great story, great characters, and I had a great time with all my friends. Great thing to look back on. But yeah, scary movie number 4. Number 3 is Superbad. Jonah Hill, awesome. Emma Stone, awesome. Bill Hader, Seth Rogen, uh, just a fantastic. I say fantastic a lot. It is a great comedy, great characters, and a great story. Uh, it's about the 3 main characters who are invited to a party, high school party, and they have to get the booze for this party. So they spend the entire night trying to get this booze and get to this party. Along the way, they get separated, and they end up doing different things in this movie. One of them ends up with 2 cops. Another one, the other 2 end up at another party. But it is a funny movie, and for 2007, probably the best comedy if it wasn't for Knocked Up. But yeah, definitely great. Check it out. Number 2 is Wedding Crashers. Oh, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Rachel McAdams, Bradley Cooper. It is a really good movie. These 2 guys, bachelors, every season, wedding season, for 3 weeks, they crash weddings by sleeping with all the women they can. They basically invite themselves to these weddings and make up backstories of how they're related, and it works. They eat and drink and sleep with beautiful women 3 weeks out of the year. And yeah, there's one big wedding that's coming up with a high ranking politician that they want to try after the season's technically over. But they do it, and oh my God, eventually you think they would regret it. But Ilsa Fisher in this movie, she is my favorite in this movie. She ends up being with Vince Vaughn's character. She's so sweet, so cute in this movie. But I love Rachel McAdams. We get to see Bradley Cooper, who's a giant douche in this movie, but a funny douche at that. But this is a great movie. One I watch all the time. Will Ferrell is in the 3rd act. And yeah, it's just a fun time. And my number 1 favorite comedy of the 1990s is The Hangover. Yes, I have the poster right over there on my wall. This movie, one of the best road trip comedies, but bachelor party movies of all time. Zach Galifianakis, Ed Helms, and Bradley Cooper, along with their 4th buddy, who I can't remember his name, go to Vegas for his bachelor party, and they end up losing Doug. They can't find him. So they take several days trying to find their buddy. And they get into a lot of mischief. They run into a lot of crazy characters, including Mike Tyson and his tiger. And but it is so funny. They end up finding out that the reason they couldn't remember anything is something was slipped to them that really shouldn't have happened. But it's got great side characters. Mike Epps is one of the side characters in this movie. I think it's Jin Cho in this movie. I think I can't remember. Also, Heather Graham is in this movie. She's fantastic too. The part she's in it. I love this movie. The first time I saw it in theaters, this is a movie I actually went back and watched multiple times, and to this day, I watch it all the time if it's on a movie channel that's uncut. Because watching it on regular TV is just stupid. But The Hangover, my favorite comedy of the 2000s, and it is my favorite comedy of all time currently. But could it be knocked off? We'll just have to see. But there you have it. That is my top 20 favorite comedies of the 2000s. So in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions on my list. and give me some of your favorite comedies of the 1990s, of the 2000s. It's a hard list to put together, and I'm sure yours is probably different than mine. Uh, but yeah, that will finish my top 10 and top 20 comedy rankings until after 2019, when I'll be doing that decade next. There's been some really good comedies, but I think they have a hard time competing with the past decades. But we'll just have to see. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's talk about movies, doing rankings, top 10s, everything. Other than that, I am horror fan for life. Thank you for watching this top 20, and I'll see you guys next time. Check you later.